Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the MI podcast. Today, we'll discuss about marketing in the luxury sector. Marketing in the luxury sector it differs quite a lot from conventional marketing. The principles, the techniques, and all can be, in certain cases, even opposite than normal marketing. We'll take you through certain things which are there in luxury marketing, which is quite unique to itself. And that's kind of a learning point for people who are working in the luxury sector. You're promoting some of the other luxury brand. Awesome. So, firstly, luxury marketing is built on desire, not demand. What I mean by this is that when you look at most of the marketing frameworks, they are built around identifying existing demand and fulfilling it. There's a common term, you all use in interviews, marketers, is that marketing is creating value, right? You create a certain value and then sales is delivering that value. So, in the case of a luxury brand, you are identifying. So, generally, normal marketing is identifying existing demand and fulfilling it. You're creating some kind of value. Luxury brands, they do the opposite. So in that, you have to create desire that did not exist in the first place. You know, when we look at common mass brands, because that is something you and me are exposed to. Luxury brands generally very specific to a more elite audience because it's a very high value products or services, right? So in terms of the high monetary value. So when you look at mass brands, you conduct consumer research and you discover what customers want, right? But luxury brands, they often rely more on the creative vision, and they rely on brand direction. So they're very, branding is such an important part of these particular, if you call it the whole luxury sector per se. uh, Market surveys also won't be that effective because it's creating a world of your own when you're looking at luxury branding. So how do you basically construct demand in luxury, right? If it's just not out there, like when you cannot identify a certain demand in the same, it is through symbolism, it is through culture, and most importantly now with social media, it is through storytelling. So in luxury, product marketing, the goal is not solving a practical problem. Normally, in marketing, it is maybe very specific, use case of it. You're solving a specific problem for a particular customer. In terms of luxury brands, fulfilling an emotional aspiration. So, what would be a key takeaway as marketers? The question should not be what does the customer need. The question will be what will make the customer dream. So that's so kind of different when you look at this kind of marketing. Next, you'll have as luxury brands, you intentionally resist accessibility. In luxury, it can't be too accessible. In conventional marketing, you're judging success by your maximum reach and accessibility. But in luxury, that can damage the brand if you are too the reach is too much and its accessibility also of product or service is too much. So basically luxury brands often they limit their distributions, they'll reduce the availability, and also you would have heard a lot about waiting lists in particular luxury products. They're very exclusive, they could be just 100 certain bags in the world which are luxury brand, for example, and they are very high cost basically. So Scarcity is increasing the perceived value, right? And also the state status of it. That's symbolic status, basically, that I have this particular, this Gucci bag or whatever, like whichever is the luxury brand. The brand must remain slightly out of reach to maintain its mystique. That is so important. I mean, you cannot be accessible. That's a kind of a reverse where we look at marketing, where you have to maximize the sales and you look at every opportunity, every channel where that product or service can be accessed from. In luxury, it works in a different way. So, as marketers, what we have to ask, we in general marketing would be asking, you have to make the product easy to buy, right? We have to make the product easy to buy and is accessible from any channel. But in luxury, it's you have to make the product worth waiting for. That's where the all the interesting discussion on social media regarding wait lists and all of that. So your pricing is so important in luxury. Price, it is part of the brand story. So in most industries, price is a can be perceived as a barrier to conversion, right? As marketers will say, oh, we can make certain thing more affordable if you create a some combo element to it or some kind of a package or something. But in luxury, uh, price is so important that becomes a signal of prestige and exclusivity. Exclusivity is the name of the game. A higher pricing will reinforce the perception of rarity, craftsmanship, and status. In luxury brand marketing, discounting is extremely dangerous. That's why, in terms of as a marketing strategy, discounting is kind of communicated to a marketing is something which cannot be used at all, right? Unless if there's an emergency or something within your business. So because it basically it acts as a, I mean, it is quite dangerous in terms of it can erode brand equity. Uh, when you have a luxury product, it is basically communicating social signaling, right? So that is where the exclusivity would come in. The takeaways for the marketers would be that in your general marketing, you compete on value for money, but in luxury brands, you compete on value of meaning. Brand image is more important than immediate sales. Very important. As marketers, we kind of have so much. I mean, in terms of to pass the torch in terms of your let's say that a sale should happen every week to week. We have to know, that say if you're getting leads, are they qualified and converting into sales? We can kind of be very short term thinking, but that cannot be done at all when we are looking at a luxury brand. The short term sales metrics aren't that important. Or even if you look at a direct ROI in a short amount of time. The luxury brands, what they prioritize is long term brand equity. Campaigns have to focus more on aesthetic storytelling than any kind of product features. In your advertising for a luxury brand, it should resemble editorial or art than any kind of salesiness or gimmicky kind of promotions. You're maintaining prestige and desirability, right? And you're not looking at an immediate revenue. Like there's a lot of kind of self control that goes into it. Creating that brand. As a marketer of a luxury brand. In mass marketing, you'll say you optimize transactions, right? That is the goal. But in luxury, You have to protect reputation and aura. That is the most important. You can take a loss on an immediate level in terms of like sales or something, but it should not hurt the brand in general. Most important, like what we are seeing in the last few years with social media and all the online content, the experience of the luxury brand, that is what makes or becomes the core product. The experience surrounding the product is more important than the product itself. What are we looking at? We're looking at personalized service, environment design, and sensory experiences. So these become your key differentiators. Luxury brands, they design holistic ecosystems. So what could they be? They could be the physical spaces, the service rituals, packaging, and most importantly, storytelling. The customers remember in luxury products how the brand made them feel. So just the product or service that's purchased is not, remember, it is the brand. What is the feeling that you had uh, when you purchased product or service? What is the product make you feel? So these were some of my kind of insights into this luxury branding. I think it's very exciting, like marketers who are working in luxury brands and uh, like the branding aspect of it, and creating that FOMO kind of thing, fear of missing out, obviously in among the rich category of people for their products and all. You have the wait list and various other you know tactics. They have exclusive events. Like if you have to purchase, like say a Mercedes would have that. Like if you, it is like a thing of pride if you can be part of those events. Like even purchasing certain kind of watches and all. I've heard that they don't allow every, just because you have money, it's not necessary you will get that. Like they'll do a complete analysis of your background in it and whether you're worthy to get the product. So it's that creates, even like not only the price but also like my social status or something, and so many other things have an impact whether I get that product or the service. That creates that exclusivity of that uh, particular luxury brand. Awesome. So let's go through some Q and A's from the audience. Okay, let's go. What is the biggest mistake brands make when trying to positions themselves as luxury? Yeah, what can be the biggest mistake that you have kind of noticed? Uh, Obviously, the biggest mistake is amateur mistake is that the high pricing alone, that you create a, like you just, if you're creating a product, so just you have a higher, much higher pricing, that, and that's what goes into it as a luxury product. The consumers are not stupid. um, Luxury is not defined only by price. It is what is it built through. It is consistent brand storytelling. uh, Proof in the pudding, the exceptional product quality itself, right? That will create that that brand experience. Strong cultural positioning should be there, right? How is it so important to me in my culture? Like if you have made it, you have this particular product. Uh, then your carefully curated distribution and experience. That is where exclusive events you're being part of, and you are obviously people like that exclusive people, you are reaching out, and if they deem you worthy, only the brand people, they're giving you that product. So that is also something, that how do you create that whole process for that sales process. That is also quite interesting. So if you just have a high price and you don't have these things, then it basically, it the high price, it appears unjustified, right? It's not prestigious at all. So, like that is, I feel, something which you have to go in as a marketer. Just you can look at the pricing. Awesome. How has consumer behavior changed in luxury marketing over the last few years? Obviously, with AI, with all the social media, there's been major, changes. They have so many, I think, luxury brands that have come out. This premium, extra premium. ultra high net worth individuals, they have increased quite a bit over the last few years, right? Uh, so amount of say billionaires also that are there in the world has increased so much in the last few years. So this is a huge segment. So what are these segments? Even there are quite a bit of young people in this particular luxury segment. So luxury consumers today, they will seek meaning and experience, not just at a status symbol, right? They have to look at meaning and experience. Uh, so, as a modern luxury buyer, what are their value? That is what we have to look at as marketers. They're valuing authenticity, sustainability and craftsmanship, unique experiences, and most importantly, a cultural relevance. So, as a result of this, the luxury brands they're increasingly focusing on experiential marketing and storytelling. So, then just traditional advertising. I mean, that I don't think many people are kind of using it just like that. You have to have a clear plan of how to go about things, and that is where these elements are so important as luxury marketers. Awesome. So, what do you feel in the future? What are you looking at luxury marketing going forward? So it'll revolve around luxury marketing will revolve around experience, personalization, and cultural storytelling. So if you can create those elements, you are consistent as a marketer. That is how you stand out. So brand they can successfully blend heritage with modern digital engagement. Very important. You're living in the social media and AI age. So who can blend heritage and modern digital engagement will continue to remain relevant while preserving their exclusivity. Awesome. So these are a few things which I feel as a luxury marketer it's quite important. Uh, so obviously in this particular episode I've looked at various differences within mass marketing and luxury marketing. So very interesting way we can conclude this is that in mass marketing we try to win the market, and in luxury marketing we try to transcend it. That's so awesome. Thank you. Awesome. Great. So we'll wrap up this podcast. Thanks a lot. Thanks for joining me. And remember, listen to your heart, believe in your journey. Keep going and keep growing. I'll see you in the next one.